I'm here at the studios of KALW in San Francisco with Junior Walk. He's an environmental activist who speaks out and educates people about the long-term environmental health and community degradation caused by surface coal mining. Junior was born and raised in the southern part of West Virginia on the banks of the Coal River. He worked for Massey Energy for 6 months. His dad still works there. He was arrested last month at a tree sit-in to stop blasting, and he's actually being sued by Massey. Actually, Alpha Natural Resources, the company that now owns Massey. And Junior is in town receiving a Brower Youth Award from the Earth Island Institute. Welcome, Junior.
Thank you.
So I understand this is the first time you've traveled west of the Mississippi.
Yeah, it is.
You're here in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's been quite the little bit of culture shock, I suppose.
Well, you just arrived last night,
Yeah.
so you'll have to tell me about your culture shock next week.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got such an incredible story. You grew up in West Virginia, coal mining town. So many of us hear about coal mining, we care about it, but we're totally disconnected from it. What do you want people to know about what it's actually like to be raised in a coal mining town?
That's sort of a hard question.
Well, what about the realities of living in a coal
right.
mining town?
Yeah,
what do you face on a regular
Just,
basis?
imagine always having this specter of the coal company hanging over your head and knowing that they control everything you do, and if they don't want you to do something, you don't do it, And also imagine, hearing a blast go off every day at 4:30 and, knowing that the dust is going to be coming right down into your home, and imagine turning on your tap and red water comes out, smells like sulfur, and knowing that your neighbors are getting cancer and dying, and you can't speak up and say nothing about it.
The red water comes out on a regular basis?
Oh, no. Whenever from the time I was 12 years old until I was about 17, we had red sulfur water from underground coal slurry injections. And I've been dealing with a lot of health issues because of that. Obviously, I wasn't stupid enough to drink the water, but, we still had to shower in it every day, had to wash our dishes, wash our clothes.
What kind of health issues do you face?
Been dealing with a lot of gastrointestinal problems. Got pretty bad hernia and a pretty bad case of gastritis.
Wow.
So.
Does this company offer health insurance, Massey?
Yeah, if you call it that. They have one doctor that you can go to. It's
one doctor for how many
the
workers?
Company doctor. It's the only doctor that they pay for. You can go to other doctors, I suppose. But, I don't even know how many people work for them, a couple thousand.
Wow.
But, yeah.
So talk about why it's so difficult to speak out in your community.
Because there's been a system of essentially economic slavery in place in Appalachia for the past 150 years. And the coal industry has had the people there under its thumb, for that long. And it's just so ingrained into the culture and into the people there that folks are afraid to stand up and make their voices heard, and they're afraid to, be associated with anybody that does, or, the iron fist of the coal industry is going to come crashing right down on them.
What was it that made you start to speak out?
I started speaking out, not only because of the effects that the coal industry has had on me or on my family or on my community, but for me it's sort of like atonement even for actions that I have done. I worked for Massey Energy whenever I got out of high school because I couldn't go to college and I was stuck in West Virginia. What else was I going to do? And then I worked later after that as a security guard for a while. And I just felt like the most miserable human being for, being part of that, being the smallest cog in that machine that was destroying my home and killing my people. And, that's what really inspired me to start this work, is I knew I had to make up for that.
So you were writing for a newsletter anonymously.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened to you when your family found out that you were criticizing the industry they work for?
Right. Well, they knew that I was writing for the newsletter, and they were all about it as long as I stayed anonymous, but because they understand, they've lived with the effects of coal mining for a long time. Their whole lives, and they knew that everything I was saying was right. But, you know, as soon as I started deciding to put my face out there and put my name out there and start speaking out, they knew that they had to kick me out of their home because my father would have been fired. You know, he wouldn't have been able to take care of my little sister and my mother, you know. It just wouldn't have been too good.
Because there are no other options in your area.
Yeah, there are absolutely no other jobs unless you want to flip hamburgers for a living, you know.
So what did you do when your dad had to kick you out?
I lived with a friend for a few months, and then I got myself an apartment.
And how do you pay for it?
I'm on staff at Coal River Mountain Watch. My technical job title is outreach coordinator.
Okay.
So.
Well, and you were at the Keystone protest in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
You were arrested last month,
Mm-hmm.
Taking part in a tree sit-in to stop blasting.
Yeah.
You're being sued by Massey. Alpha Natural Resources now owns Massey. You've been traveling the last 2 years, speaking in colleges and schools. And what has this experience been like for you? And what insights can you share with us about what's really happening in the country that we're not hearing about?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an insane experience. I mean, I'd hardly ever gotten out of the holler, you know, before I started this sort of work. Like, I used to be really backward, you know. I wouldn't talk to anybody, wouldn't look nobody in the eye. But, you know, it got me so mad about what was going on that I knew I could do anything.
So what was it? During the show, I asked you all to talk about what keeps you going, and you said, stay angry. That's what keeps you going. But what was it about? I mean, was there a moment? Did something happen where you said, you know what? I can't do this anymore?
Yeah, I mean, it was the first day I got up there on the strip mine when I was working as a security guard. That was what did it. You know, knowing that I was up there and getting paid, that money was going into my wallet that was coming out of that mountain, and the people at the bottom of that mountain were getting sick and dying. And that's what really kicked me in the rear end and made me know that I couldn't sit on my hands anymore and let this go on.
And then you found your voice.
Yeah. And then I figured I could do anything, you know.
It's such an inspiring story. What about what's happening in the country? What do you experience that we don't see in the media?
Right. Well, a lot of the youth nowadays is getting more aware, more politically aware, and they're just deciding to start taking a stand in a more for a more progressive world, you know, and realizing that all of these institutions that have been held as sacred for ages are fascism, pretty much. I mean, it's what it boils down to. Like all these financial institutions and the way that our society itself, you know, conducts itself, it's wrong, and people are finally realizing that.
I couldn't help but wonder when the three of you, we had 3 Brower Youth Award winners on the show today. What if you were on the cable shows tonight talking about this? What if we heard from young people on a regular basis about what they're doing? I think it would inspire so many more people to get involved, and we would spend so much more time talking about solutions and what's really possible.
Mm-hmm. I agree completely, you know.
Just based on what you've seen in your travels.
Yeah, just based on, like, me talking to people one-on-one and letting them know what's happening at my home. And, you know, sometimes something just clicks in somebody and they're like, oh, wait a minute, you know, this is wrong. I need to do something about this. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if we could reach more people, if the mainstream media would step up and do its job and keep this government accountable, then, you know, we have a revolution on our hands.
Well, we're hoping it's starting right now. What's next for you, Junior?
What's next for me is November the 14th is my court date for the tree sit, and I could possibly spend 6 months in jail. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, we'll definitely check in with you to find out what happened. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. Your story is so inspiring. Junior Walk is an environmental activist. He was raised in the southern part of West Virginia on the banks of the Coal River. He worked for Massey Energy. He's now speaking out against them. He's being arrested. He's going to protest. He's speaking in colleges across the country. And he's here in San Francisco, first time traveling west of the Mississippi. He will be accepting the Brower Youth Award next week. Thank you so much, Junior.
Thank you.
And you can find more information about Junior right under this video. Thank you.